Appeal?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's one in the morning. I was gonna go, but I'm too busy.
Oh, what's going on tomorrow?
A hearing, that's all I know. It's on the bonding.
On the what?
The bonding. I'm sure the developer wants you to bond it, pay for the bond, if you're gonna continue your appeal. So they're gonna argue it out the
Yeah,
bond.
so if it's something you guys want to pursue, there's a lot of examples that can be used as like templates if they were.
That's what I hear.
It's information to me.
Yeah, you know, I hear things.
Do you?
Well, I think if they're
Outside of executive session, huh?
that's like the big thing.
It's in the courthouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who do you know in
that's
the
so true.
courthouse?
There was much more.
The judge,
Oh, you know the judge?
Ross.
Yeah. Personally?
No, I just know. Of course, I
Guess
know
it's
the
good to know.
developer also.
I guess it's good to know people in places, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if that's any good. I just let you know.
Oh.
Come to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for the invocation by John Moorbucker from Skywalker Ministries.
Right here?
Sure.
Okay, let's pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you for this night. Thank you for this township and its wonderful people. We ask that you would continue to pour out blessing upon it, keep everyone safe and protected, and that you might give the people making decisions about it wisdom, and that all we do in this community would be bring glory to you. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Security cameras were installed in the meeting room for visual recordings for security purposes only. Members of the public may be recording this meeting. Amendments to the agenda. Do you have any amendments? The minutes, February 4th, 2025, regular meeting. We'll take action on that.
I move to approve the February 4th meeting minutes as submitted.
Second. Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Fritz.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes. Bills, general and stormwater funds, February 5th through March 4th. We'll take action on that.
How you doing?
I move to pay the bills from the general and stormwater funds as submitted, with the signing of the checks following the meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve.
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Fritz.
Yes. Okay, at this time we'll have public comments. Limited to 3 minutes per person. Public comments.
Yes, Dia Swartz, 119 AH Drive. It's been about 3 years now since you adopted, the board adopted the snow and ice program. I think back on February or March of 2022, the Township adopted that plan. And I was wondering if I could get an update as far as if any amendments have been made to that plan.
I don't think we have any current amendments, but
If you have no amendments, have you been following that program? Have you adhered to that program?
as far as I know, we've adhered to it. You know, we've had a little tough winter, and
Well,
few circumstances
It's been 3
that
winters.
override
Three
it.
winters.
But we do have a plan in place. So Ron, why don't you explain what we're intending to do?
So the New Sewickley Township.
Excuse me. Have you adhered to the plan? That's the question. Not what Ron's proposing. You've worked under that plan now for 3 years. I want to know if you followed that plan. Yes or no?
The plan is followed per the truck routes for the road department and the mixture that is determined by the road foreman
Are all the roads in the township treated the same?
per the truck routes, correct?
No. Is the material used on the roads all,
They are all different
they're all different?
Correct.
Why is that?
because each road has a different category for the truck route that they've had.
Are there any roads in the township that receive salt only?
Yes, there are.
Where does it state that in the plan?
That is the determination of the road foreman.
No, it says in the plan, absolutely, all roads will be treated with a mix of salt and cinders, or abrasive material, stones, whatever. There is nothing in that plan that says you will treat roads with salt only. Why at the time, not only township, not only them, but they denied it 3 or 4 times at public meetings. 4 to 5 of you denied that it was done. Not only that, you approved the plan.
This here's better.
No.
This one's
that you were doing that.
that's here.
We leave it to the discretion of the road foreman to determine conditions as necessary according to our police officers and.
All
our-
that determination says is the mix is up to the road.
Well, your comment's been heard and understood. We're gonna review the plan in September before next year. And one big thing may take care of itself, and we can't even get ashes anymore. So there's be no more ashes that we're aware of, at least a limited.
Are you aware that there was a motion passed in 2010 that said the Page Drive and Danbury Orange would receive salt only on their road? Were you?
No.
Apparently not. Why not? It was done for Danbury for years and years before you passed your ice and snow removal plan.
Well, your 3 minutes are up, and we've taken your objection and we understand it. So we're gonna review it in September and we'll make a new plan.
All you people are intellectually lazy for signing a document, okay, without asking anybody. You're in charge. Your principal responsibility, assigned by the state, is the roads. That's why you exist, is for roads.
Everything we do is to make public.
No, it hasn't.
I disagree with your opinion, but thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? Hearing none, any MS4 comments? Okay, moving on, administration. Treasurer's report. Guys all got a treasurer's report submitted for your information. Adopt ordinance number 238, closing out the PNC road pension account. We'll take action on that.
Move to adopt ordinance 238, closing out the PNC road pension account.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. Item number C, approve the bid, the cemetery maintenance. We'll take action on that.
I got a couple questions with that. Are we keeping the fees the same?
Why don't we, no. We're gonna rebid it.
Okay, but isn't the, you're approving the document?
Well, the specs are gonna change a little bit too. Ron, why don't you?
Specs.
The specs on the document?
Yes, yes, let's,
Yeah.
we don't know what the fees are yet.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so let
Okay.
Ron tell you what we're intending to do, is get your input on it, and then we'll see where we go.
So we're gonna place out the bid with the 3 cemeteries that we are required to maintain. One grass cutting the last week of each month, which will be April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. 2 tree trimmings with a pole saw high and a 4-foot apron around the property line, and shrub trimmings during the grass cuttings in the following months, April and July. So we'll put that out the bid when you, at that point, anybody can place what they would require payment for that. Then you'll make a decision on which company you would want to use after that.
Okay. So I guess my primary question would be, in the agreement that we have now, there's a section in there about getting the township building grounds trimmed with the trees.
So my suggestion would be to take that out or change the title of the document.
We did take that out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because we actually removed those shrubs from the, when we put that
Okay.
block.
Three shrubs off, Mark. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, very good.
So, the thinking there, Steve, is just what they can reach with a pole saw as far as overgrowth out from the sides.
Yeah, yeah, so they can drive their equipment and.
Well, even just wild cherry grows 4 feet a year across it. So we want to trim that back if we can, maintain that. See where we're at with it. If we need bigger equipment, then either our equipment or we can bid that out for bigger trees.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we're at after this, is the thought. And to get our grass mowed at the end of the month
Yeah.
as opposed to the first of the month. And
I did like before the holidays though.
yeah, that's the.
And that's kind of why I put the last week of the month, because most of the holidays are the very first Monday. So if we could get it
Yeah.
done before then, that would probably be the best.
Just change it up just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
But like Boggs Cemetery, it's really overgrown. It needs some.
Yeah, it may take some RJ or maybe something heavier than that, we don't know.
Needs some attention.
So we'll take a look at that once we get it cut at least once.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Need a motion?
I'll move to advertise the bid, the cemetery maintenance with a 3-year contract.
I'll second. Motion and a second, any additional questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Fritz,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes. Brings us to Comcast audit by Cohen Law. And I guess it might be pertinent, Ron, why don't you just explain where we're at with that currently, rather than.
So back in September of last year, we tried to get in contact with Cohen Law. They kind of were going through some internal problems at their law firm. They wouldn't respond to any emails that were sent. We did pass that Strasburg McKenna, which is our solicitor's law firm, to negotiate the contract with Comcast. In January, I was contacted by the Cohen Law Group, advised of their internal problems that they had, and he wanted to submit a proposal. So I permitted him to submit the proposal. I forwarded it to the board. It was kind of interesting in the read. We currently get reimbursed for 17 line items. He says most municipalities are getting 27 line items. Our contract was signed back in 2012, and we haven't, none of our contracts expand into digital technology, which is internet-based video services, any type of streaming products. So Comcast's product line has changed drastically since 2012. I mean, you gotta figure that's 12 years ago. Technology is different. So, in their audit process, they can examine and make sure that we have all 27 streams of revenue that come in. And this is not no small line item in our budget. I mean, the franchise fees bring in $135,000. So I think spending the audit portion of it is $4,000. I think it's a well investment for the possible profit change that would come through with that coming back into the budget. To negotiate the contract, it is $7,900 just to do the contract, and it is $5,900 to do the audit. Combined together, they'll give you a discount, which the combined cost would be $11,730. Back in 2024, we did have this budgeted as a capital account in the capital budgeting portion. I did speak with our solicitor. I mean, they are able to do this type of work. It's not their expertise. So it would take a little bit more, and it may be a little bit more costly than what Ellen does actually charge. But if you feel more comfortable with our solicitor doing it, she said she can accomplish it.
Yeah, we are able to do it. As Ron said, it would probably be more expensive. I would recommend Cohen to do the audit and negotiation just because they're a big name in the cable franchise negotiation and auditing industry in this part of Pennsylvania, so that carries some weight with them. But again, we're happy to do it, able to do it if you're more comfortable with that. And just to kind of explain the issue that Cohen was experiencing, it was a personnel issue. The attorney we were working with went on a sudden leave of absence and then decided to switch career paths. So it wasn't Cohen Law Firm as a whole that was experiencing any sort of issue. It was our point of contact, and that's why we had difficulty reaching them. And then Dan Cohen, actually the founder and chair for the law firm, reached out directly and expressed interest in still working with the township.
Plus, I remember their original quote was
Like
substantially
17,
higher.
I think. Yeah, 17 maybe.
It's quite a bit higher, so they come back with a reduced rate and then discount it again, so.
Mhm.
Looks like it's really a couple hours of their legal time,
Mhm.
$3.40 an hour. Really a couple hours to do the audit, so with their expertise, it may speed things along.
You're saying your fees would be greater than that. Would that include the audit?
Yeah, that would be for the whole bundle. I think we're capable of doing the audit probably, but
So it would be far less if we just negotiated the contract.
yeah, it would be less, but it would still be, I think, so they broke down the price as Ron was explaining, where the negotiation was one fee and then the audit was another fee. I still think our fee for negotiation would be higher than their fee for negotiation, and that's not for any particular reason other than, we're I think it has to do with like location and market and things like that,
We shouldn't take that long to renew that contract, should it?
Well, if
It
you're
should be very
negotiating
many hours.
additional charges and like line items and things like that Ron was explaining, it might take a little bit longer. But again, if you want to break it up, that's fine. But I think their overall package and the fact of the discount related to combining them is, pretty appealing. But again, we're happy to. I just know that Cohen does a good job and you'd be in very good hands.
Well, my concern with this whole issue has to do with, first off, we're dealing with the declining industry.
Mm-hmm.
They are going down fast. Their numbers are dropping so fast in the past 10 years. They're in financial distress. So Comcast and the cable companies they're on their way out. Everything's going wired. And that's not something that's being provided by them. So we're going to charge a fee that gets added to the bill of all of our residents who are still on cable. It's going to show up as part of their franchise fee. That's the only way we get any money back.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at that and I say, we're going to spend a large sum of money to chase after a couple of $1,000s to milk that out of the residents' cable bill. And it's in decline. It's a whole industry that's going down. I'm thinking we need to renew the contract, but I would say we'll do that at what's the most reasonable cost to the township and to the residents. So I personally would be happy to just have our law firm look at just renewing the contract and leave it at that, rather than tossing more money after this and then again, all we're doing is passing the expense on to the residents.
We're talking about $3,000 to do the audit, which isn't a whole lot of money, which could be recouped.
But it goes on to those bills.
Well,
It also says that the ones they've done of 500, 65% of them they've found irregularities in. So we've been on this for 13 years. I mean, we could have all kinds of irregularities
I don't think
we
anybody's
don't
even-
know about.
Nobody's even streaming 12 years ago. So
So
there's,
I think it's, for the $3,800 it's gonna cost us, I really think we should look into it, and even if it's a very small amount of money per person or per household, it could amount to a large amount of money. And you may be right, it's going downhill, but it's gonna take a few years for it to happen. So-
Yeah, I might have thought, Mike, is just like you're saying, so you're gonna invest a little bit of money to watch more and more people move away from the service you just invested money in, is what I'm thinking.
And you may, yeah, you
It
may
is,
be
it
right.
is happening, that's a national trend, it's not like a secret.
I understand, you're right, but again, it's not gonna happen tomorrow or the next day, but it may take several years to happen, and that time we could have lost a ton of money for the township. I mean, again, we're talking $135,000, that's not insignificant to us, so. If we can maintain as much of that as possible, I think we should.
all right, well, we just have it for discussion tonight, and not for action.
In an audit, what are they auditing? Are they auditing Mary Smith? We're billing her for one box, but she actually has two boxes, which costs them more. Are they looking at, what does the audit mean? Are they auditing just all the money stuff?
Yeah,
They're
they're gonna,
looking for mistakes in billing, in the payments, or what does that mean?
There's a ton of things they look through, services and streaming services, I think. My thought is Comcast, it's a big outfit. I get it, they're in decline, but they're not gonna go out of business. I wouldn't.
That's the way
They're gonna adapt to the changes in the environment. So I think it'd be pertinent to do it.
They don't care a lot, they're very much.
Yeah, I just think
But Doug's right, they are.
It's a trend.
Boo-boo and
Right,
everything else is.
right. A lot of people are looking to do different ways, you know, and you talk to any of your kids, they're going to streaming services and things, but.
5G.
So where's that streaming service come from?
Well, yes.
Comcast.
5G, we just restricted the town.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Like you said, at Middlesex Township. Down 46%.
Well, that's, in the last 10 years,
Mhm.
that's 4.5% every year for the last 10 years, so it's different percent of what you're calling it.
But who knows what technology's gonna do?
That's the kind of phrase. You can speak now.
Anyway, good discussion. Yep. Talk about it again and see where we want to go with it. Item number E, zoning hearing board future appointments. Discussion, action, we don't know what exactly we should do with that. My thought is for the appointment of the alternate, or even a member, should only be advertised as an alternate. Because the alternate should have the choice to move up when we appoint a new member to the zoning hearing board.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that could depend upon, whether or not that alternate is interested in moving up. So that would be.
Doug brought up that point that maybe we should make it a first right of refusal.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. But I would still advertise it as a position with the zoning hearing board. Because that's what you're seeking to fill.
I know, but what happens is if a member steps off, and this happened, I think 2 or 3 times. And now my boy's in the same position. So it does happen. So when a member quits or leaves for some reason, this board or a board appoints a member. And that member goes on. And the alternate sits there.
Yeah, I don't.
It doesn't have a chance.
Does New Sewickley make a difference when it's seeking zoning board positions? Whether or not it's like classifying it as an alternate to be
No,
filled,
nobody
or-
thinks about it. That's the point. That's why we need to change the terminology.
What's your question?
Whether or not when like the position goes out there, like, you know, on the website or whatever, like we're looking to fill this position, is it classified as just a member of the zoning hearing board or an
I think it's
alternate
classified
member?
as an alternate.
It's classified as an alternate or a member. Either one, whichever position is open. Just doesn't give the opportunity for the alternate, even though he's been there 2 or 3 years.
I think that it would just be an internal operating procedure that the process includes offering the position first to alternates. Whether or not that's written down, there is probably in the zoning ordinance could be amended to state that it's, you know, the alternate is offered the first right of refusal.
I don't know if we need to change an ordinance, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is a big deal, but it could just be
I
an
think we
internal
need an
procedure.
internal procedure, even on our website. That's why I'm saying we should advertise it as the alternate position, always.
Well, what if the alternate says they don't want it, they're not interested in
Don't want the time.
moving up? Yeah, because it is a different time commitment.
Sure.
That's why I was thinking, but some people might say.
Why
"Oh,
don't you could be advertised as zoning board member or alternate position.
When I was an alternate, I always attended,
Yeah,
so.
not
we'll see.
everyone's as attentive as you are.
So,
The question I had that came to mind since we've had this discussion is that a board cannot decide future for future boards.
right.
Wouldn't that be the same situation? You can't prescribe the actions of a future board. In other words, you can't make a decision that forces them into making that decision.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Well,
That's more related to like contracts and things, because right, we all have ordinances that basically say what boards are supposed to be doing, but that's why they can be amended. But again, that's just sort of why I would recommend maybe an internal operating procedure that,
Something that you're saying the board must
something
do this.
informal,
Well,
yeah.
because the whole board changes, and you're saying, well, no, you have to go with who the last board picked. And that's what I'm saying, usually that's not permitted to say, you know, the new board has the right to rule. And so you can't hamstring the new board, that's what.
Yeah, and that's a fair point of view, I think, but again, I think that, this could be memorialized in something informal where, you know, it's it's described as the preference of the board
Yeah.
is to offer it, but if like circumstances change, you know, it could be offered to somebody new, if the circumstances were that way. Because all appointees serve at the pleasure of the board as well, so, you know, it's kind of whatever the board at the time, wants to implement.
No,
What other boards have alternates?
that's the only one, that's why it's only the zoning hearing board.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get rid of the alternate.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
Isn't that so that you always have a quorum?
that's why you do it, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, well, our planning commission obviously makes recommendations. You know, it's the zoning hearing board that serves as a quasi-judicial proceeding, and so that's why they, have alternates,
Well, we have
because they necessarily need, a quorum.
We have an opportunity here, since we're putting in a new website. You're gonna advertise all the positions, appointed positions, you know, so we can take applications at all, whenever somebody is looking at it, they can give us an application. So we need to maybe clarify it on that.
Yeah, I would say if you're
As a
going to put a,
policy. Yeah.
if you're going to put a notice out there on the website or elsewhere, I would put it as member or alternate. Regular member or alternate, because there might be people who are just interested in having the alternate position as well. So it really, like, right now you might be in a position where you have a windfall of people who are excited to participate in those types of activities, but I've also seen, you know, municipalities that have a hard time finding places to fill those boards. So it might come to a point where this board has to just fill the 3 seats that it has before it can even find
Right,
alternates, you know,
usually it
so.
comes down to the board trying to find somebody to fill the seat. Right?
Yeah,
So, you know, just trying to raise awareness
yes.
To that side. Maybe the website's the way to do it, and also through our secretary who does the advertising, make a note. And then housekeeping, I guess, through the zoning hearing board even.
Yeah, I think it's, well, this board appoints the members, right, so I think
That's
it's,
true.
it's with this board to just kind of put that as something in their, at the top of their, like, recollection when it comes to doing
remember.
zoning hearing appointments, is that, oh, we have an alternate who might be interested.
But this board may remember and the next board won't, so that's
Yeah,
why
that's
we're
why it could be,
discussing it.
yeah, it could be written down somewhere.
Policy.
Well, the question I had was, why isn't there an alternate for all the boards? I know you have the one for the zoning
Because you have to have
hearing.
a quorum and there's only 3 members of the zoning hearing board.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the alternate, 3 members and the alternate. So if one of the members can't make it for work or whatever reasons, then the alternate becomes a voting member.
That is quasi-judicial, it's not.
I think that's more logical reason.
That's the only reason they're doing
I
it.
don't see anything negative about having an alternate for all the boards.
Well, alternates are specifically provided for under the MPC for the zoning board, so statutorily, alternates are recognized as a member of those boards, even if they're just alternate members, and I don't wanna say just, because sometimes that can become
That's good.
the same thing as being a regular member. But I think it does have to do probably, and I mean, that's within the purview of the General Assembly, but the fact that zoning hearing boards are so small, it's very easy for 2 people to miss a meeting or to have conflicting schedules. But then again, the quasi-judicial nature of it, but, the second-class township code, which is different from the MPC, I'm not aware of it specifically providing to have alternates for any other board. So it's just sort of
Just
like
wondered.
a statutory thing, in my opinion.
It sounds like we just need to make a recommendation at the website, at the time we're
Yeah.
putting it on the website.
It's the preference of the board to, offer
time.
the appointment, yeah, And I would put it as preference, just because as circumstances changed, you might wanna change that.
Okay, that's how we'll leave it. Is that okay with you guys?
We'll leave it there.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to bring this up or not, but one of the members of the board leaves the township for half a year, and he's not there for the winter months, and so Neil has been, actually, the alternate's been taking over for the last at least 3 or 4 meetings, so there may be, I'm gonna have some, thought about if he can't be there for most of the meetings, and
I thought we didn't have that many.
have that way. The last 3 or 4, yeah, in the last 3 or 4 months, I guess it's been like 3 or 4.
You never know.
I thought it was very
We went-
frequent.
Again,
maybe
all
2 years ago.
appointments serve at the pleasure of the board, so if you feel like things need to be switched around and someone should become an alternate, like an alternate and a regular member need to be swapped, that can happen too.
So if we wanted to, we could switch the alternate now and make the person who doesn't come all the time the alternate. Could we do that?
You could.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, workshop requests for March 11th at either 9 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. to discuss the 2025 road maintenance project. Ron, we want to describe that? That's for the Glen Road project?
Yeah, I'd like to sit down and see if Kevin, Brett, or Josh would like to attend the meeting to talk about the Glen Road project and then Darlington Road project. And also, we had some things arise down by the high school on Thorn Street, Robinson Street, Harvey Avenue. Columbia Gas is down there installing gas lines. They applied for a road cut permit. So they're gonna be paving most of those roads down there. So I think it's an opportunity while Youngblood is here to get a cheaper rate to pave the roads that we kind of stalled off because of the water line grant that they were waiting for, but they didn't get because we were gonna pave Robinson Street and Pine Street and White Oak.
Well, I thought we were gonna hold off on paving this year.
Well, the prices I'm looking at, you might wanna, that's why I like to have a meeting to discuss the pricing of that, because it looks very,
Usually, don't, the gas company pay that whenever they tear it up?
they are.
But I would be in favor of having our engineers look at it, because isn't that, just the complaints we're getting as far as MS4 and drainage and how the road sets, and I know they,
We can talk about that, because if we have the engineer there, I mean, he can put his 2 cents in there too.
yeah, I think that's going
But-
forward, we need to look at that kind of stuff.
It's a good hour conversation, not, I don't think it's too big of a conversation at a time.
Yes, I agree, so we need a workshop March 11th.
I can do 6:30.
Here, 6:30,
I'll second at 6:30.
2 6:30s, okay. Engineers have any preference, I guess? We'll make it work.
Time and place.
I think it's a 6:30, you okay with 6:30, guys?
I like 11, but I'll come 6:30.
Okay, 6:30, Ron.
6:30 it is.
Public safety, police, monthly report. I wasn't able to open mine today, I don't know why, it's just, I've been having internet trouble, but,
Switch to Verizon.
well, that's what I have.
Oh, well.
Believe me, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Ron did give me some disturbing news, we had another school bus run today on flashing red lights.
We did.
On Pine Run Road, and it was kind of a nasty situation, so why don't you fill us in on that and anything else we need to be aware of?
Yeah, so one of my officers stopped an individual for passing through the red lights on a school bus on Pine Run this morning and found him to be under the influence of some controlled substances and possession of some controlled substances, so he's got some pending criminal charges coming.
Obviously this morning, you say, not this afternoon.
This morning, it was 8:30 this morning.
Wow. I don't know what else we can do. I mean, obviously you guys are on it, so we appreciate it. You know, you guys always being there for our kids, you know. It just scares me, one kid stepping on it.
Yeah, and that's the elementary run, so that's even worse.
Even worse. Unbelievable. Wish there was something else we could do, tow their car, I mean, some kind of public display, you know? So, I just,
I'm thinking Edison, if he did know the car, right?
yeah, no. In that situation you do, but a lot of times you don't. Appreciate your efforts there, and then I guess you guys were over serving pancakes tonight?
Yep, Ron and I were over there flipping some pancakes, and we had some help.
Very good, very good. Appreciate the efforts. Like I say, better than sled riding. Only no more injuries.
I know it was a lot warmer than sled riding.
Okay, anything else?
No, just the intersection of 68 Glenede Road update. So Ron and RJ and I met with PennDOT, and sometime this summer they're gonna install 8 solar-powered flashing lights at that intersection. Stop signs and intersection ahead.
8 more, because I did see there's some flashing there now.
Yeah, those are the ones we obtained through some funding. And these, they're gonna replace two of those. And RJ and I are gonna figure out where we can best use those in the township. To maybe beef up the safety at another intersection.
When do you think our speed limit lights or speed limit signs going back up?
We can probably put those up once the, get some time with the road department. We can get out and get them back up.
I personally think those are the biggest deterrents. There's people see that and they just automatically slow down. So, I still, you know, I'm amazed when I could drive through there at night, at Gleneden, at how bright it is. I mean, the new light really helped. So, okay, I guess there won't be any dirt moving. All that surveying they did is just determined we're not gonna do anything with that. PennDOT's not gonna do anything.
Their latest information to us is they're not gonna do anything on it.
Just so everybody knows, PennDOT is paint and flashing lights. That's what they want to do.
Correct.
Yeah, they can't do any grading on that hillside because of the neighbor septic systems up there. So they're not gonna touch it.
It's too bad. All right, anything else for police, you guys? Nothing? Good shape. Fire department, we've seen one of them guys here somewhere.
How you doing, guys? As everybody knows here, probably the merger between Big Knob and Pine Run did finally finish in January. I apologize, we had to run out last meeting. We did have a call. I retained on as president of the new organization. This is Matt Johnson. He's the chief of the new organization. Everything is going very well so far. We've been very busy. I'll let him touch on that a little bit. We would like to request a workshop with the township in the coming months here just to discuss some upcoming things we might want to do with the property, as well as possibly improving the fire department as well as a whole. So Ron, if you want to put something together and put it out to the board when they might be available to hold that, I would appreciate it. And I'll let Matt touch on some of the operational side of things here as far as calls. But if anybody has any questions, I believe you all have my contact information.
As Steve said, Matt Johnston. Many of you in the room know me. If you do not know me, I been with the Big Knob Fire Department for 24 years, lifelong New Sewickley resident. Been here all my 41 years here. So we started the merger, took place January 13th, and we hit the ground running. February we had 44 calls for service. It was a very busy month for us. I submitted reports to Ron. He should have all that information. So look forward to working with the board and doing the best we can to serve the residents in New Sewickley.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
I've seen that the reports you gave mainly came from Big Knob. And I know it's one service now, so how are you coordinating both buildings?
The report still states Big Knob because we are under contract with that responding software.
Right.
When that contract ends, they'll be changing the name to New Sewickley. So all the calls, we are now being dispatched as one department, Station 52. Previously, we were dispatched as 2 departments, Station 26, Station 59. So as far as that report goes, you can disregard it. It says Big Knob on it. It is New Sewickley Fire District.
Okay. And that's all the calls for both buildings?
Yes.
Very good.
Very good.
As far as that reporting software goes, then that cut down the duplication of effort for reporting when both departments were called out.
Correct.
So now it's just one
There's
set of-
only one set of reporting. Both departments no longer have to pay for that monthly or that yearly subscription to that reporting software, so that was also a cost savings.
So you went with Big Knob's subscription, and eventually then when you.
Yeah, Pine Run's subscription ended, so they did not renew theirs. Ours had renewed prior to the merger, so we're still under contract with them.
So working as designed, cost savings and onward and upward.
Hopefully.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay, anything more for the fire department, you guys?
Chairman, would you like to schedule the workshop now, or would you like to wait?
Why don't we get a recommendation from these guys when they might want to? You could set it up and we'll talk about it. Next meeting. Road department, RJ, it was a busy month. Glad to see your job fit or anything, you know?
Everything's going well. We saw a groundhog today.
Oh,
Lives in
geez.
Sewickley. But spring is here.
One day.
Spring's here, that's all I got to say. Flowers are
Spring's
out.
here, isn't it? A nice day.
Sticky with the hot stops running. It's good.
No, the only thing I can think of is that the extra salt bin back there, we need to get some kind of cover on it. And
I would love to
the board
talk
needs
about,
to-
I would love to talk about that.
Well, one of our workshops, we're gonna have to bring it up and talk about it. Tonight's not the night, but,
Yes.
put together something and we gotta talk about some way to put a roof on it. We got some excitement at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I would love that.
Okay.
ARJ, the work that you did on the police cars for 4 days, what was that? What'd you do?
We put, some kind of, what's that,
Just-
power in the back, did oil changes, honestly,
On the report, can you just put just a couple blurbs going forward, just kind of like what you did, just overall, you know,
a lot of
change
times
oil,
I'm not there, and I guess I could try harder, but like I said, I know.
change engine?
He gives a report, so I kind of feel like,
So if you look at my vehicle maintenance report, it'll indicate who did the work.
he turns a report, and that's, I mean, it feels like I'm doing his work, and we're doing the same thing.
They should both kind of point to each other, right? They should both kind of line up with each other.
I just feel like, I mean.
It's just a couple sentences.
Not
It's just
every
like
day
two words.
I'm in there, and
I'm
sometimes.
not reading 2 pages of the same thing.
I can, like I said, I can
He'll do
try
better.
harder.
Yeah, I don't think it's much to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, anything else?
I think we owe them a kind of a attaboy though for the winter, because as far as I'm concerned, PennDOT did a less than adequate job this summer, and they took one up covering for them many days, so.
Thank you for bringing that
Yeah,
up. That's
they-
very important.
Yep. They covered a lot of stuff that they did not have to, so.
So, and all in all, I think you did a very successful season. Of course, we're not done yet. But, hopefully we are, seeing groundhogs and everything.
Yeah.
But,
The guys worked really hard. This was a real winter. We haven't had one in several winters. The guys did a great job. I mean, we spent a lot of hours on weekends, nights, early mornings, and I just have to say
It was brutal.
It was a real winter, and the guys did a great job.
Peters and the trucks all worked there, yeah?
Good enough.
You only slid off the road once. You see that?
Yes.
Thank God.
Laundry bills in the mail.
Very good.
I think, did the chief call you guys out on some PennDOT roads to help out today?
Yeah, we help the police. I mean, sometimes they get scared, so we help. We help as much as we can.
Don't worry.
Always do.
Thanks a lot.
Good working relationship we have, so that's important.
Make sure you tell you guys, great job. It was a brutal winter.
Thank you.
The old-fashioned winter.
I will tell them, thank you.
All right. Approval to advertise and bid liquid asphalt rental equipment. We'll take action on that.
I move to advertise and bid the liquid asphalts and rental equipment contracts.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Steve?
Yes.
Doug? Yes. Mike?
Yes.
Fritz? Yes. Mark?
Yes. Engineering. Monthly report was submitted. Does the engineer have anything for us?
I guess first thing, guess this grant workshop meeting is scheduled for the 19th this month, so Kevin's gonna attend that from our office, so we can go through grant opportunities at that meeting. As far as MS4s, I touched base on this last month, but I think, Mike, you had questions on how we had it worded, so.
No, I just didn't understand, the one that said volume, something, I wish I had what that was.
So, yeah, the notice of intent is due. So DEP issued a draft permit for review. So we currently have that. We're taking a look at the new requirements. Basically, the township's notice of intent is due to DEP by September 30th, 2026. And then the volume management plan, or the VMP, the final plan is due to DEP September 30th, 2028. And everything outlined in that plan has to be implemented by September 30th, 2031.
So this is the new permit cycle plan that we're talking about.
So Josh, the priority needs to be that we first need to file for a waiver, and then we can concurrently work on the new plan, but we need to take first steps in submitting for a waiver. The other thing is, with this new plan, I'm not sure, we gotta go over some of like the parsing that was done, because I don't know, I haven't seen a map where the state roads are parsed out that goes into this, and, yeah, it goes into the permit, but it goes into your catalogs. Right. So, I just wanted just to clarify that we wanna do a waiver first, and we'd have to make some justifications. We'd rely on you guys to make the justifications for that.
Yeah, well,
Please, good.
I mean, we could try. You may not be granted it, but it's worth trying, I guess. So,
Sure.
yeah, we can put together a waiver request for that.
Question I have is on these couple roads that we're trying to do, to try to get them included in our MS4, like Glen Graver especially, and Darlington if we can. And I know it's a different area, or a different watershed. I'm not sure how that would play, but when we're using MS4 funds to straighten out the drainage on these roads before we pave, we want to try to, how do you do that if we don't have a permit in place? If it's work we're working on.
Permit's only for the designated area.
Yeah,
You can't just do a project
it has to be
everywhere.
within the
I get
designated
that.
watershed, and, I mean, the original permit didn't include it, so even if it is in the right watershed, we'd probably have to get an amendment to the permit if we wanted to do a different project.
Well, we want to try to include some of these, you know, because I haven't seen it. What's our next project? Do you have it?
That's what they're working on.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
you guys are working on the next project? I mean, is it you guys that choose? I mean,
Make recommendations.
right.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
The DEP doesn't come in and say this is where you have to work on. You've got, they got.
No, I mean, with the initial permit that was submitted and approved, we had a list of projects. I mean, so basically.
Which we submitted.
Which the township submitted.
Right.
So, I mean, that's sort of our guidelines on what
Okay.
projects we're doing, locations of what we're doing.
But we make that decision though. DEP doesn't come in and say this is
Well, it has
okay,
to
this
be,
is
it has
not
to be
okay.
a projects that were previously
That they were
approved
approved.
through the
Right,
permit.
yeah.
Okay, the idea, Mike, if I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, we get a target, we have to reduce by.
Yeah, I understand.
Within that zone.
So it's sediment loading reduction in certain watersheds.
But then how we go about doing that's up to us to say, we're gonna build this, we're gonna build that, we're gonna build 9 of these and 4 of those, and that's when they
So,
look at it
yeah.
and say, oh yeah, that'll meet your requirements, go ahead, build it.
Yeah, whether it's stream restoration or rain gardens or
That's why I want
whatever.
to get
So
you
that's-
thinking about some of these road things that we're going to do in the future, to include them if we can.
This permit.
With the new cycle.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we'll
those
have
won't
to,
count unless you go out there and you're weighing the sedimentation that you're taking out of the catch basins.
yeah, so there's certain projects that are more cost effective or easier for you to get credit for. So you can certainly get credit for removing sediment from basins, but you physically have to measure
That's
pound
what-
for pound how much sediment you remove from each basin.
We'd have to use our maintenance crew to go do that.
And they'd have to report on, for that specific.
Right.
If you're trying to get credit for removing sediment from inlets.
Well, if we did one, a full, then we'd know, right? We wouldn't have to do every one.
I don't think you have to measure them all.
Yeah, you can't really average it out, it has to be an exact measurement.
They won't let you get away with that.
So, I mean, there's certain projects where, I mean, there are assumptions that are approved, I mean, for like rain gardens or stormwater basins or underground storage tanks, so. Stream restoration.
What we're trying to do is get to
There's
what
not
makes
an-
sense for the township of New Sewickley, to make common sense to fix things that we know need fixed.
So, yeah, I mean,
And
that's
still
all
get
stuff
credit for it.
that we will review with the township with this next cycle on what the next
Great,
projects.
I just want you thinking that way, because that's what we're trying to accomplish, two birds with one stone if we can.
So, otherwise, by 2028 then, we have to have made a final decision, is that it?
You know, with the final volume management plan submitted to DEP by 2028.
Then we'll have 3 years to get it done, basically.
What we do prior to doesn't count.
No, separate the cycle.
Trying. Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, other than that, that Noonan street drainage, so we do have a draft design prepared for that, so we'll get that over to Ron and we can set up a meeting if we want.
If we ever forward that to Alexis, you said you weren't in favor of writing a letter, but the township should write the letter to PennDOT identifying what we've uncovered to see if they would be involved to fix that.
I think that what I had said previously was that I could write a letter, but I think that it would probably come across better if it was written by the township.
Would we then want to forward that information that we got from LSSE and say, here's what we've determined is effective? You know, this is what we're advised, would you please,
Consider.
you know, facilitate this?
Yeah.
Pictures make a big difference.
Well, I mean, the fact we got a plan.
Yeah, you can attach our drawings to it.
I mean, we're okay with that?
Chairman, I already drafted a letter sending off PennDOT.
Did you?
Did it have their report?
No, I asked if they would,
Maybe we'll resend it once you get a report.
send a letter to them stating we were doing a project and ask their assistance in the project. They have not responded.
Well, let's send them some engineering drawings if they're even a draft, or whatever we got shown.
We submit another one.
And submit it, yeah, keep after them, squeak and wheel,
It's true though.
squeak and wheel. Cause I guess they still haven't done anything with Lovi.
They
The
haven't done
drainage
nothing
down that
with Lovi.
side.
They haven't done nothing with 989.
We could barely get them to salt roads, so we're not getting anything, so potholes are, RJ, don't forget to keep track of potholes. I think we're gonna have to start reporting those.
You could pretty much say every road.
I know.
I mean, honestly, I started like writing them down, it's to the point that it's every one of the roads.
I think it's important to do that, you know, so don't get frustrated with it. Let's get them reported, and 989 still the same, Willoughby Run still has 2 slides, no burn work done, you know, water's the killer for all this stuff. So, we need to keep on. You know, it's redundant, but I think we have to do it.
Yes.
I mean, we met them face to face about Love I Road 6 months ago, and they did zero. I mean, it's an awful shame.
Well, we're gonna see what happens, like for those kind of projects, what happens in the spring and summer. They're not gonna jump into something like that in the winter time.
I know, but it's just saying, the last time, I think we called about, even Willoughby Run, they said our crews are in Raccoon Township, we're working your way, well, that may be 10 years from now.
Well, we got slides like Willoughby Run, they apply for federal funding on those, and it takes a little while to get that. So
That's not gonna happen anytime
when
soon.
Low Road slid over the hill, it slid twice, and it took a while to get that funding,
I know.
and then they fixed it.
I get it, but if we keep squealing on it, and it doesn't, it's cheaper to send a letter. I think they should answer a letter, rather than even just a phone call. But of course, they're PennDOT. All right. Anything else, Sean?
Other than that, I mean, for this municipal complex, we have a conceptual plan put together for the sewer improvements, so we'll get that sent over to Ron here in the next couple of weeks and for discussion. Other than that, that's all I have.
Josh, you think on next Tuesday, something with the industry will?
Yeah, we could probably bring in a copy of the plans to that meeting and discuss it.
Okay, our solicitor.
I submitted a report in writing to you all this afternoon. My apologies for not getting that to you sooner. But it was actually a pretty quiet month for February comparatively, so you know, that was a good thing to report. I think sometimes no news is good news, but if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to discuss.
Okay, thank you. Monthly progress reports, planning commission.
Just continuing to.
She's
It's like, wait.
she's the boss.
Just continuing to review matters brought up from the zoning hearing board on several ordinances and codes that they're seeing quite often, so reviewing those to see if we need to revise language or clarify those a little bit. So it's an ongoing discussion. Nothing will, once we get everything will come at one time.
Did you keep notes on what Doug brought up about his permitting for filming? Make a look into that a little bit.
I think they were on that email.
That might not even be a planning type ordinance.
Well, what's
I have no idea what he's talking about.
We don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, we didn't discuss it in this meeting, but we were talking about it before.
We just got a notification of a film crew doing, shooting in the township. And I know that anytime, anywhere else you film, you need permits, you need to have approvals. And I thought it was state law or federal. And so I just questioned whether or not we had something that needed to be done. Alexis advised us that that would be up to us to have protections for, like setting up lighting at 4 o'clock in the morning and shooting overnight when there's less traffic or whatever, or, you know, shutting down roads for 2 weeks, or, you know, they are reimbursing for police services, but is there anything in writing from the township that says, we have some general guidelines you have to follow? But I'm understanding that should come from the solicitor rather than planning.
Yeah, that seems more like a general powers
It's
type.
not a saldo thing.
Yeah, no, just maybe like
Well, I'm
a
thinking
special
guidelines.
event type.
So it's like an ordinance guideline.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying the planning commission should look into it a little bit for a recommendation.
They approve ordinances.
I get that, but I mean,
They can certainly look into it.
they can look into it.
Yeah.
So put it back.
I'm scratching out, Jenny.
Anyway.
Just you be screw away.
Well, I mean, if you wanna look at it like
I
a
look at
special
it.
event
Yeah.
point of view, that's what I was thinking, and that falls
Look at
within the
everything
purview
else.
of zoning.
They say they're not busy, so that's.
I didn't say we weren't busy.
Just a reminder, like a subdivision guide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, municipal authority. There he's hiding tonight.
Had some issues.
Did he? Ron, maybe you could give us a quick update on what's going on with that water line.
So the water lines are back working since the groundhogs are out, spring's here, I guess, they're out working. There's been some negotiation with the water company that they're gonna extend it over to the Dollar General, and Dollar General's gonna tap into it. They're gonna extend it a little bit further to try to get to Naview Estates now.
It's big.
It's big.
That's real big.
Hopefully that does come through, and,
So you're working on that, or municipal authorities in progress?
yeah, I'm hoping that
Negotiating that.
Hoping that that does become a success, because
Before they
Naview
get
Estates
out.
has been having water troubles over there, but the next step would be, I can't force Naview Estates to pass into it.
And then they still have 250,000 more, we'll get closer to the intersection of 989. The $250,000 grant that they just got to extend. to
Yeah, I don't
receive.
know how far that will go, I haven't had that discussion.
So, point is we might be able to go up.
To get the forest book, that would be the next one, because that,
We'll do those.
mobile home park's been getting hammered with complaints of water problems.
All right, we'll see where that goes. So that's in
That
the
probably
process.
won't pay for the engineering. 250,000.
Today's world, I know. You can only hope.
You can hope.
You can see how far it goes. At least it's 250,000 we didn't have, put it that way.
Well, I agree with that. First step is the engineering.
We might get another fire hydrant closer. Anyway, thanks, Ron, for that. Recreation.
Well, we had a very good February meeting. We have 3 concerts booked already. The El Dorado Band on May 23rd, the Jaggers on June 14th, and September 13th, Dancing Queen. We're looking to get one more band for the summer. Our park work day is April 26th, 8 a.m. to however long it takes us. Leonard Skull Teddy, think that's how you say his last name. He was at our meeting, and he knew we were talking about making the walking trail in the upper park. And he volunteered to help do it and map it out. And he has a young lady from his group, from his troop, that wants to do work for it during our Eagle Badge. So with them and the rec board and hopefully some township help,
RJ will help you.
Right on.
we're gonna try to get that done, hopefully before early summer. We're also looking at doing a frisbee golf course in the upper park. And the railing on the amphitheater is loose and getting ready to fall off. So we got an estimate on metal railing. It was for $2,200. We voted on doing it, so that should be done, I would think, probably real quick. And as of right now, shelter rentals are open for, so.
Don't forget about inspecting those play sets, the toys.
Yes.
That's important, because they'll be starting to get used quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of people there today.
Springtime. Okay, code enforcement. I guess you all got a report for that. Mostly trailer park stuff, it sounds like, skirting, junk removal.
Yeah, so the first of January every year, code enforcement goes out and renews the mobile home park licenses. She goes in and checks them all out, tries to bring them up to standards.
There's just the board comments,
I have one question. You're with Penn Energy, right? The, that gas line that's getting run, could you talk a little bit about that?
With Energy Transfer.
Oh, okay.
Wrong company.
She's running the water line, right? No.
She's drilling the wells.
We need water for those wells, another, I've seen reports where they're
Well,
crossing
she is
the
gonna be
water.
putting a water line down from Bridges Farm over to the well.
Temporary.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's temporary.
I knew I seen a water line.
That's the only comment that I had.
Okay, anybody else? Motion adjourned? All in favor? Aye.
I know, in the water lines.
Long time ago, Al, long time ago.